how do we make something look like it's rounded versus that it's square? And we do that in the shadows. And so I looked around and tried to find something that had both rounded edges and square shaped edges, and I came up with a mailbox. It's not a terribly exciting subject matter, but it will work really well for me to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So first I made a drawing. I always make a drawing on inexpensive paper first for any painting I'm going to do. And I call that my master drawing. And so I made my master drawing of the mailbox. And then I traced that master drawing onto watercolor paper. It's a little harder to see because I didn't draw too dark on the watercolor paper. Okay, so I paused the recording because I wanted to paint the background. I didn't want to waste time on the background right now because our goal is to show you how to paint an object that has rounded edges versus one that has square edges. So I painted the background, and this is kind of an approximation of what the background is here, which doesn't really matter anyway. This is not going to be a fine art painting, but so I painted the background and I painted around my object. I would not necessarily do that if I was doing my own painting, but for the sake of this demonstration, that's what I'm going to do. And what I want you to notice is we have a soft edge here where the mailbox turns away from the light. We have a hard edge here where there is a cast shadow, and there's hard edge. And hard edge is where the object squares and turns away, even though this is a round form. Here we have a cast shadow. Here we have a shadow because the pole that holds up the mailbox is square. Again, another square shadow, and so forth. So I'm going to need to make a soft edge here, and then the rest of these will be hard edges. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is mix up some paints, which I did, and now I'm going to wet the mailbox in the areas where I want a soft edge. And I'm looking at my photograph to make sure I get everywhere. I think I'm just going to paint right through that. All right. And I'm wetting right up to where the shadow's going to go. Yep, I messed up there, so I'll have to stop and fix that. Anyway, all right, here we go. So at the very top, I see a lot of blue, so I think I'm going to do that. So right in here, we've got some blue that comes across there. It's kind of a turquoisey color. I'm going to put that in there. Then I'm going to go with these colors. And I need to paint right through that. And that's a hard edge. So we're going to come down here. Can't see if I lean over it. Okay, come down here, paint around that, come down here. I think I need some pink in there just to kind of add some variety. Come down here, add some more blue, make that hard edge. Come down here. Just painting it as one solid shape. I need a little yellow. Come down here. back to this blue. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I'm just doing what I feel when I start to get bored with the color that I'm putting in, then I put in a different color. And I'm going to have to get out of here pretty quick. Okay. All right. So now I need to do a little housekeeping, pick up my collective water here along the edges. And I'm going to dry it. Okay, so now I've got the main shape done, and you can see that this looks rounded, but here you can tell that it's square. I need to go back in and add some more shadows. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this part up here where the handle is. It comes across there. And then there's a cast shadow here. And it comes over this way, and it comes this way, and it comes down that way. And of course, it's gonna needs to change too. And it needs to kind of blend in with the rest. So I'm going to use my flat brush to just kind of blend it. So looking at our painting, what we see is that we have a rounded shadow here because the form is turning, and we have hard edges everywhere else because the object is turning at a 45-degree angle or 90-degree angle, sorry. And what you saw was I wet the whole shape. I just painted it with water first, and then I applied paint. And as I applied the paint here, where it was wet above it, the paint would move up a little bit, and we get a nice soft edge, which indicates that it's rounded. But I did not put any paint here, and so when I came up to the edge of that, it made a hard edge. So everywhere where you're painting on up to dry paper, it'll be a hard edge. If the paper is wet, you will get a soft edge. And that's how we show that something is round and soft. The other thing you would have noticed, I hope, is that when I painted into this, I changed colors frequently because the rationale in nature is that there would be a lot of color reflected into a white form like this. Anyway, there's reflected color in anything. If you look at yourself in a mirror and you hold up something blue next to your skin, 5 or 6 inches away from your skin, you're going to see some blue reflected into your skin, or green or orange or whatever. So the things pick up the surrounding colors anyway, and that's the rationale. But the other thing is it's more interesting to look at. And then where I wanted there to be a clear differentiation in the shadows, like here, I changed, this was purple, and so I put some yellow into the shadow here to make it for this cast shadow. The other thing to notice is not only are the shadows hard where something turns away from the light, but cast shadows tend to have hard edges where they're close to the object that's casting the shadow. But as the shadow moves further away from the object that's the source, the shadow will get softer.